Is it me, or has veganuary been super quiet this year? As a professional positive panicker, somebody who worries a lot about the climate, as I'm sure you do too, even if you're not vegetarian or vegan, you probably are aware of the fact that maybe most of us should probably be moving that direction, at least gesturing in that way, if we have a chance of not to overstate it, surviving as a species. This is the kind of cheery January content you tuned in for, isn't it? However, it is not all doom and gloom. While there are lots of think pieces on the internet about how lots of vegan influencers are quitting veganism, the chat about veganuary has gone down and down, stats show that people are still moving towards a plant-based diet, even if we're not talking about it as much online. So, as somebody who talks on the internet about being imperfect in every way, including veganism, but knowing what the graphs say, knowing the direction we really need to be moving in, like we actually genuinely need to get a move on. I think 2030 is the deadline for the UK to have reduced their meat consumption by 20%. Lads, we're almost halfway through the decade. I thought it'd be cool to bring you a cheerful, food-filled video that gives you the opportunity to ask the stupid questions, or at least through me. One of the things that I found about veganism was that while there are now 3% of Britons, that's like nearly 2 million people are vegan, I hadn't met one for a very, very long time. Now I know loads of them. If you're thinking about even moving in that direction slightly, even if you can't go vegan completely, it's very hard to picture like what your life would be like. And it helps a lot with any kind of behavioral change or system shift to know somebody who's already doing it. So I thought I'd give you the opportunity today to hang out with one of my favourite vegans. Nicole, or Vegan Beauty Girl as she's known online, not only has a great Instagram and YouTube, but writes my favourite newsletter. Full stop, not even sustainable newsletter. My favourite newsletter. It's called Susty Scoops, and while all of the free stuff is really, really useful, Nicole's Substack remains to this day the only newsletter I voluntarily pay for. It is so useful, it is so non-judgmental and unassuming and entertaining, and genuinely keeps you up to date not only with any like plant-based swaps you might want to make in your life, but also just generally what are the people that we're giving money to? What are they doing? What are the sustainable updates in general from the UK and from the world? And I think she does a bloody great job. So if I was thinking who would be the one vegan that I would introduce you to, I thought Nicole would be perfect. Not only because she's really used to stupid questions, thank goodness, and she's been vegan since she was a teenager, like she has been seeing it from the beginning, but also because she knows some absolutely banging vegan spots in London. So I asked her to take me to some of her favourite vegan spots. We did a little food crawl, and I got to ask her some of my silly vegan questions on your behalf. I hope you enjoy. So we are at our first stop, British Patagonia, and let me show you what we have got.
Sorry, I used the joystick in the wrong way.
How dare you? Fired. I'm getting a new camera woman. So this is a vegan Ferrero Rocher crown. You wish you were here. And what is yours, Nicole?
Cheese and leek.
A vegan cheese and leek pie.
Something, yeah.
Kind of like a kind of, it looks like a twisted little croissant, like a dirty, filthy, twisted little croissant. And then we both got Earl Grey tea because we are ladies. We are ladies who lunch. So let's bite into this, and then I'm going to quiz Nicole on being a vegan. Let's go. Oh, it's illegal. It's illegal. That was really nice. Yeah, 10 out of 10. Look at the squishiness in the middle. She's filled to the brim.
I'm just so happy, like the recommendation, the pressure was on.
Yeah.
Okay.
How long have they been together?
So good. I'm glad I brought you here.
So, the first category we're going to talk about, Nicole, is misconceptions before you went vegan. Now, I've been gradually going vegan over the past 5 years, and you went vegan when you were like 13, am I correct?
Yeah, so I went vegan in like 2007, so back when I was 13, a very long time ago.
Did you have any misconceptions at that age?
I'll be honest, no, the second I found out what veganism was, I went for it. I think everyone around me did, if they even knew what it was, but everyone expected me to get anemia. Like, I know nowadays everyone worries about the protein. I don't know whether or not to look at you.
I don't know either.
But yeah, these days everyone is like, oh, protein. But when I first went vegan, it was all about anemia for some reason. So everyone's like, you're going to get anemic. And then I remember there was a girl in school who did get anemic, and then one of the teachers was like, oh, I thought that would be Nicole. It's not.
You're like, cheers there.
Yeah, but like my skin cleared up. I like lost a bit of like weight, and then my running time at school, because at school you don't really run other than the beep test and like the 1500. And I went from being like one of the worst 4 to being one of the like worst 9. So all that was just going vegan. So I feel like everyone, I think the evidence just spoke for itself, especially in like a school where you are kind of like a little bit monitored, but not really monitored. But I think everyone was kind of like, oh, seems to be doing well. That's good, yeah.
One of my misconceptions, I think, was the protein, because I'd heard about the protein thing. You're like rolling your eyes, you're like, yes, the protein. And then I think also I just thought that people were not going to be nice to me.
Oh.
I thought that people, like, do you know what I mean? And I think that actually going vegetarian first and seeing that nobody really cared and had a reaction to it at all, I was like, okay, we're going to try and ease.
Really?
Yeah, I'd prepared all of my arguments. I was like, I am ready to be publicly vegetarian. And then people didn't ask, and I was like, I have statistics in my bag. People have been slowly working out that I'm backing into veganism, but like, so like whenever they go out with me, I'm like, oat milk, oh this, can we go here? There's no vegan options there. And I feel like it's been like, for the people in my life who don't watch my YouTube channel, then they just don't, they don't realise they're sneaking in.
Being a vegan, you just have to phase out looking at other people's plates to like cope in life. So I just never look at what's on someone else's plate. But one of my exes, he'd really like started cutting out meat, and then he just lost it with me. He was like, have you not noticed? And I was like, what? And he was like, I haven't eaten meat in like 2 weeks. And I was like, oh. And he was like, how have you not noticed? And I'm like, I don't look at your plate. But
yeah, you're like not thinking about.
Yeah.
Because I think that's like a misconception about like before, when I like knew people who were vegan, I was like, oh no, they're going to be like looking at my plate and judging me, and like, should I order vegan stuff in front of them? Is it kind of like, you know that somebody's sober, so you're like, I'm not going to order a cocktail. How do you feel about that?
I always appreciate it if someone orders vegan around me or like chooses to, but I don't ever want to feel them to be forced to. Otherwise I feel like no one will want to hang out with me, because I'll be like, oh, I've got to be vegan. Don't fancy being vegan today, so I won't hang out with Nicole. So, but yeah, I do think like, especially when you first go vegan, you are so hyper aware and you're quite unpleasant to be around, and like it's very unpleasant being around other people. But so you really, do you feel like you have to desensitize yourself to it? Otherwise I would be arguing all the time. I just have to be like, just focus on your own, like yoga, you just focus on your own mat.
I think for like actually like visceral meat is something that I'm like, you just can't think about the fact that there's like some dead flesh over there. Like that's something you just have to like shut your brain down to. I don't know, I think that I felt like very oversensitive about it when I first started learning about it, and you kind of you get angry at your past self for not knowing, and then you kind of like that, I feel like that nervous energy was just in me. Probably still is, and then I'm like really worried about coming across holier than thou or like judgmental about it, but it's a hard, I kind of think of it a little bit, I try and think of it a little bit like religion, where it's like people have their things and you can't like convert somebody by telling them about your religion straight away. I don't know,
it's
you know
so
what I mean?
hard,
Like it's something, it's both like personal, but also it does affect other people eventually. So it's a real hard moral conundrum.
I feel like when you first go vegan, you're like, I've seen the truth and my world has shattered, and you just want to share it with everyone. You're like, no, if you just look at it differently, you'll realize you want to do this too. But then everyone's like, shut up. I'm not in the mood to, like, I don't want to think about that, you know, like no one, unless you want to reevaluate it, you're not going to. I feel like you have to be open to it. But my boyfriend started sending me videos of cows on Instagram, like really cute cows, and I'm kind of a bit like, I think this might be how it starts.
Like, this is the beginning.
Because if you start seeing like cows act like dogs, and then you'll realise a cow isn't that different to a dog, and you'll look at a burger and think, fuck, it's like eating a dog. So I'm waiting for it to happen. We don't know, and I don't expect it to happen, but I do sometimes think this is the first piece.
Yeah, but I think it's okay for those pieces to slowly fall into place. Like mine fell into place over a long time, and I appreciate that nobody sat me down and just told me off. Do you know what I mean? So I was like slowly like eking out, and I had a friend I didn't know very well, but I was seeing her at something, and I was like, hey, can I just pull you aside later over lunch and maybe just ask you some really stupid questions about veganism? She was like, sure. And it was just like, I kind of was able to just pull her aside and then be like, okay. And she didn't like follow up with me to check, like, have you gone vegan now? But it was just like a kind of, there were lots of little moments like that people were really generous with me. I feel very grateful for that. Something that's interesting is that I have a nose ring. Yeah. And I've had a nose ring since I was like 20. And people have always assumed that I was vegetarian when I wasn't. And I feel like maybe I give off an energy that's like, oh,
You do.
I have the personality of a vegan.
You do.
Do you think that you need a certain kind of personality to be vegan, or do you think like it has formed your personality? Because you've gone so early, and you like when your frontal cortex was still growing, it's just part of you. But like, do you think that certain personalities are more suited to going vegan in this current climate, or do you think that it's like anyone, everyone, everyone's got different ways?
I think it generally is like people who like to stand out have an easier time of being vegan and like feel more capable of giving it a go and sticking to it. I think you also have to be stubborn. I think I was quite stubborn, but also not everyone needs to live in line with their ethics as much as other people, and I think you and I are kind of those people who like we try our best to live in line with our ethics, and not everyone sees that and needs to do that. Some people accept the world's rubbish and is happy to just admit defeat, but if you are someone that needs to live in line with your values, I think that's a big one.
Yeah, I think for me, I find it, I know that it can never be perfect, but I find it more stressful to try and ignore all those facts and those feelings that are coming up. I actually find it more relaxing when I actually started becoming vegetarian and then like easing into veganism, because I was like, it feels more in line with my brain, because I've seen a fact and I'm reacting to the fact, and that feels healthier and more calming than seeing a fact and ignoring it. That actually feels more like stressful.
We just went to Tofu Vegan. I think Lena really enjoyed it. I think she liked the fish.
The fish was out of this world. In fact, I wanted to check if it was really fish, but then I realized we were at a vegan restaurant and I don't need to check because it was definitely, but like, amazing. And also I feel like the title of the restaurant really just says what it is.
Tofu Vegan.
Tofu Vegan.
Yeah, Tofu
That's
Vegan.
it. But yeah, absolutely delicious. Thank you for the recommendation.
Got Lena's notes. You can tell she named this one Sticky Wickets.
That's our theme for this chat. What's our first sticky wicket?
Yeah, you've really given these general note titles.
Yeah.
So I'm quizzing you this time.
Okay.
Leftovers / food waste. I'm assuming this is, if there are leftovers or food waste, which is not vegan, how do you feel about eating it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't. So I feel like you're going to be a bit more vague though. Let's go.
I am fully, like, I have been eating it. Does that discount me from like my ideals of trying to be vegan? Well, you're like, give me that.
No, I think there is a word for this. I think that is a freegan, where you're vegan unless there's food waste going on or something's free around. And
I
then,
didn't know there was a word for that.
A freegan.
Like a free-for-all vegan.
Food waste is a higher priority than veganism. But also, I feel like the first time I came across this was before that word, and it was Alicia Silverstone from the Clueless fame. She's been vegan for forever, and she had a little book out, and she confessed in that book that she would eat, like, if she was out for dinner and her friends...
That's the vegan police.
The vegan police!
I knew they'd come for me eventually. I didn't know it would be so prompt though.
She confessed that she would eat her friends' desserts. Like, if they'd finished their dessert, she'd have a bite out of it regardless.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, but no, I think it's a reasonable philosophy. I wouldn't do it, but I don't think it's wrong. So wait, how would you feel about yellow sticker food? You're at a supermarket, and we're not talking about like 30p off. We're talking about like it was £3, it's now 10p. It looks like it's going to go.
I wouldn't.
Okay.
I wouldn't do yellow sticker food because I think that's something that somebody else could eat who has a different belief system to me.
No, but if it looks like
sealed.
but if it looks like it is the end of the line,
Like proper
for it.
like dumpster diving.
Yeah, like give it an hour.
Is it dumpster vegan? That should be a thing.
No, that's where the
Because
vegan. Yeah.
I just don't think I think it's just like if it's unsealed and already cooked in my house and I can't. But then I've recently I think that now, and I came across this recently, there was some spare meat in my house. It's a long story. And no, it was like too gross to give to anyone and I wasn't seeing anyone. And I did actually just put it in the food waste thing because I was like, either way, it's already happened. And I actually have developed a disgust around meat. I don't think I have a disgust around dairy yet, or eggs. They don't disgust me. But like, I think I've now reached that level where the meat, I just didn't want to. Like, I was like, I actually don't want to do this. Whereas before I would have been like, oh, cheeky. Nicole's looking at me like.
No, like, do you ever feel like people purposely leave behind cheese at
Maybe.
yours? Like, being like, poor Lena the vegan.
Do you think they're trying to sabotage me? Maybe. I don't think so. It's not often, but you know, it happens. Give me another sticky wicket.
Okay. Oh yeah, accidental consumption. You
Yeah.
put guilt here. I feel like guilt's inevitable, but is it more like blame or
Like, as in, like, if you order OT coffee, which we now know you don't, and it's actually milk and you drink it, what do you do? Would you?
I think generally you just don't know if it happens, generally. But I did have it a few years ago. I was at Pret and I'd picked up a breakfast pot, and what it was labelled on the fridge was vegan. I get to my seat, I eat it, and then I'm like filming it for Instagram, and then I see the bottom, and then I'm like, oh my God, there was milk in that. And I felt really gross, but also I think my biggest concern was like, I went up and told the man, like, you need to take that sign off, but mostly because of allergies. Like, I was sad and I was upset, and a part of it was my own fault, but like, you have to label it correctly everywhere. I understand there was other places I could have checked, but it's their fault for not labeling it correctly everywhere. I think that is very important. Yeah, it was just about, the biggest thing was like, how do you make sure this doesn't happen to anyone else, and more importantly than the vegans, because of those with allergies. So generally that, but I did feel really sad. It hit me. I felt really sad.
Yeah, I do think that, like, having milk in coffee does gross me out now, and I do return it if they make the drink wrong, which they do all the time.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's just really gross, and also for the allergy thing, I like want to make a point. But then I also feel bad when then I see them just tip it into the sink, because I don't know, it feels like a cow made that, and now and for nothing, for no calorie benefit, it's just gone in the sink. So I do feel guilty about returning it, but then again, it's because I'm like, systemically, we need to stop serving people milk when they haven't ordered milk. So I don't know, I kind of put that in because I don't know how I feel about that.
Oh, I've got one to add. Last year, my boyfriend took me to the Ivy for my birthday dinner, and the service was awful. It doesn't help my birthday's like a week before Christmas, so I think a lot goes on there, a lot of special occasions. But they were just like flat out ignoring us. We're having to call people over, like when we asked for another drink, they just didn't bring it out, all this sort of stuff. So when he went to the loo, I complained. And I was like, look, it's not been good. I'm in a bad mood, he's in a bad mood, I'm in a bad mood, this is meant to be a special occasion. And they're like, we're sorry, we'll bring out a couple of like glasses of Prosecco or something. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. And then when he got back from the loo, they brought out a birthday dessert as well, with a candle in it and everything. And it obviously wasn't vegan. And I was like, if they were paying attention like they should have been, they would have known I was vegan. This was the whole crux of the issue. The service was not what you'd expect there. But yeah, and then I just turned to my boyfriend and I'm like, are you going to eat this? Because he's not vegan, but he just did not want it. And then I just had to turn to him and I was like, can you take that back? But I felt really awful because it was a food waste thing, and there's like melted away a bit, or like there was something kind of very limited about the dish. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I was like, you can't even reuse that. Yeah. Hopefully there's a server in the back being like, wait, yes, I love this dish.
Enjoy it.
But yeah.
I don't know if you've ever worked in a food place, but I have fully just eaten stuff off people's plates when they've left it. Like when I used to work at like a pub that served paninis and people only ate half a panini, I would eat the other half of it. That's just students. That's just student life. So yeah, I imagine there's like somebody like me in the back that's
I can only hope.
maybe against all advice, and you shouldn't do that, but like maybe somebody is.
It makes you feel really bad.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But it's the hard thing of like systemic versus practical.
Would you wear second-hand leather?
Yes.
Oh.
I currently am. Would you?
I do as well, but do you feel like, is it just a blanket yes, or is there?
No, I think the longer I spend on Vinted, the more I realise how much leather is already out there. And because that doesn't gross me out, and I know that it lasts a really long time, I'd far rather it be used.
Yeah.
But it makes me feel weirder when people have bought new leather and they're selling it on, rather than it having visibly been used, and then they just don't want it anymore, rather than like...
Yeah. For me, it's definitely like shopping secondhand is my biggest priority when it comes to clothes, just because there are so many new things out there. So then if I'm looking for secondhand trainers or boots or whatever, if I find something that suits me and is the right size and is the right price, I'll just buy it, because it's so important to just buy secondhand. But I don't know, I don't think it's like a blanket statement though, because there are also situations where, I remember a few years ago, was it like the acne scarf, like the really wool scarf? It was so on trend, and I saw like some other vegans were maybe like trying to buy that secondhand, but when you knew it was like so hard to find secondhand, and if you took that secondhand away, someone else might be buying it new or something, that felt a bit different. So it's more just that when I go shopping, like whether it's charity shop, car boot sale, Vinted, especially where half time you don't know what materials they are, I will just buy what works or what I'm looking for, regardless of what the material is. Yeah. That feels right with me. But then also I've got a secondhand leather jacket, and I'm thinking of getting rid of it when I find a suitable replacement. I got that because it was the right size, right colour, and it had inside pockets. Yeah. Because in London you need inside pockets, so already you're only shopping men's clothes. But I don't feel right about it, because every now and again I'll remember it's a cow, and it feels wrong having a cow wrapped around me. Yeah. So it's one I'm still trying to figure out of where is the line. But it's like you
that's
said,
like a personal choice. You wouldn't hear that somebody did that and be like, you're not vegan.
No, I think it can be vegan. But I don't know. I think there's a big difference between what is strictly vegan.
Ooh, fireworks.
Yeah, I think there's sometimes we conflate what is vegan and what is ethical. So I might actually just say like, no, I don't think it is vegan, but I don't think that means it's unethical. And I think you can still be vegan. Same with, like, I don't eat honey, but I think if someone's like, I'm vegan but I eat honey, I'd be like, okay. But if you're like, I'm vegan but I eat eggs, I'd be like, well, you're not vegan. So I think some points are grey areas, other things are off cut, like just not at all. So I think the secondhand leather is a bit grey area, but strictly I would say is still not vegan. But you don't get kicked out of the club for doing it. I don't know. Yeah.
It's like I guess like it's like vegan as a descriptor versus vegan as an intention. I mean, like, this is the direction I'm heading in. I would like to this versus like, it's technically not, but you couldn't label it vegan.
Yeah,
like if somebody labeled honey vegan, they would be wrong.
Yeah.
But then if somebody labels themselves vegan and eats honey, it feels
like you're outside you're outside just enough of the rule.
Something that I learned, bone china.
Oh yeah.
Actually has bones in it.
Yeah.
Discuss. Am I supposed to have known that? You're like, yes. Like, it's literally in the name.
Is that an old thing? Does not like new stuff still have that?
I think so.
Oh wow.
I'll fact check it.
I don't know. Yeah. I'll be honest. Yeah, not something I think about deeply. But most of my plates, like for the last 10 years, have just been housemate plates. So like, you know, your parents' old plate set. So I haven't really had to buy anything new in forever. But no, I think I did know that and forgot that. Yeah. So that's wild.
I got sent a bone china mug in the post as part of PR. And then I just looked at it and I was like, bones. You just see like words differently now. And then I'm like, is it actually bones? And in some cases it is. I didn't know about this specific mug. Oh. It's already in my house now.
On a similar tangent, for the first, I think 1 or 2 years of me being vegan, I didn't eat peanut butter because I thought the butter was butter.
Oh, that's so. I mean, you were 30.
I was 30.
You were 30.
No, but we were buying
That's
we were buying like the Meridian 100% peanut butter, like explicitly pureed peanuts. Came in a 5-kilogram tub from Holland and Barrett, and then I found out I could have been eating sun pat all along.
You could have been having it this whole time.
But now I've got a fancier taste for peanut butter.
Yeah,
so.
butter is a form, not an ingredient, which is weird. I mean, does that make sense? Am I saying that right?
Honestly, the rules around what you can label and what you can't. Hot dogs are allowed, but vegan burgers are getting cut off.
Butter is a mood. A vibe. It's not an ingredient. It's like a state. It's like the word sandwich. I guess. No, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, quick, do the next one.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, and then relationships. Would you date vegan, non-vegan? I guess is the question.
Yeah, totally. But I was dating Craig when I ate meat, so there's no way I could have.
Oh, he went veggie first.
He went veggie after me.
Oh.
But like when we met, we were both eating meat, and then I've like changed my beliefs. So, but I couldn't be like.
Ta-ra.
I did leave some documentaries on in the background, and he was like, I get it. So like, but then it's just different. And if he changes his mind about that, that's totally fine. And I think also I've really had a look into all of the other issues people have around food, whether that's like mental health issues or like dietary requirements or like people's limited stuff because they're allergic to loads of other stuff that people serve. So I get it if other people can't for whatever reason or whatever like period of their life. How about you?
As someone who went vegan in 2007, I don't know how long I would have had to been abstinent to wait around for a vegan boyfriend. But no, I've never had a vegan boyfriend.
That would be a great
an Instagram series, like staying abstinent till I find a vegan boy. No, there are more around nowadays. But yeah, my 2 longest term relationships, like one in uni and then post uni, where I was with a guy for like over 2 years. At the 2-year mark, both of them stopped eating meat. So sometimes the best activism you can, like, you can't make a vegan go more vegan, but if you're with someone who eats meat, you can make them eat less meat just by the sheer existence of being with you. So I think for activism's sake, you're better off dating non-vegans.
Yeah, because it rubs off.
Yeah.
You're like, we're all dating future vegans.
I didn't put it on my Hinge, but...
You're like, to be clear, not a statement of mine. Any other sticky wickets we've got?
No, I think that was it for the sticky wickets. But no, the relationship one is definitely contentious. A lot of vegans do get off-put of the thought of like the idea of kissing someone after they've eaten meat, and I do often say like, no, you've just eaten meat. Like, swish your mouth out or whatever. Like, there will be times where I'll ask him to take a step back, but it's not like a deal breaker. And I feel like as long as I've got respect, but I also feel like that. To get respect on what you eat, you have to give respect on what someone else eats. So you can't just go in, turn them off, and expect them to not be rude in return. It's difficult. It is difficult.
You're like, I would also like my kisses to be vegan, so at least
Yeah.
switch your mouth out.
Yes, yeah, and as long
Yeah.
as they're like open to cooking for you, going to vegan restaurants, all this and that, then I'm happy. I'm like, as long as you've got interest, respect, etc., it's a good foundation.
Yeah, I think it also is just like, that's like a bigger, wider question of like, do you date outside of your belief system? And it's like, well, everybody has to date outside of their belief system. You can't be aligned on everything. And it's like, everybody draws the line somewhere. And I think it'd be very dystopian if we only dated people who thought exactly the same as us.
Yeah.
So our third stop on the tour has been Jam Delish. And has it been delish, Nicole?
It has been delish.
Confirmed. What have you been
Yum.
eating?
Sticky toffee pudding.
Incredible. And I had the rum crumble, which you can see there is nothing left, it's all gone. There's nothing to be seen here. And I thought that our final topic of conversation
Should be called the rumble.
our final rumble, our rum crumble, I thought we could talk about swaps. So either or maybe both. Swaps, like easy swaps for if you want to ease into eating less meat and dairy, like what are some really easy things to switch out? And then also maybe some niche recommendations of things that are like, have you ever tried this? Because it's actually really good and like almost the same as the other options.
Yeah.
Anything that you would recommend if somebody was like, I just want to cut down and I want to not think about it too hard?
I feel like dairy is the easiest way to start. I feel like all the dairy alternatives, other than like actual cheese, are good. So like yogurts, milks, butters, creams, stuff like that, I think are pretty good. And easy swaps, like a lot of my family have done that, even if they've not gone vegan. I don't know, just eating more veg, like focus on putting more veg on your plate, generally helps out just anyway. And doing veganuary as well, even if you don't commit to it, gets you more familiar with a lot of vegan dishes for a month that you carry into the rest of the year. So even if you're not staying vegan, you'll be eating more vegan and you feel a lot more comfortable making a vegan dish.
One of the easiest ways that I started was when I ate out, because I'm already not cooking it. All I have to do is like point to something else on the menu. There's no extra like brain exercise for me. I'm just like ordering it for something. And then you can also taste how like a professional has cooked it and you're like, oh, this does taste good. Whereas I think before when I was trying to cook for myself at the very beginning, I was like, this tastes shit. And it's mainly because of my cooking ability, not because the actual meal was bad. So I think like having that to copy off and then be able to go home and be like, maybe I can make a vegan soup is like I think that would be my main like first swap. Do you have anything like specific, like any brands or anything that you're like life-changing, incredible?
I will say, like, first off, what you were saying really reminded me of this book I read called Half-Assed Human, and there's a great chapter about half-assed veganism, which I thought was really fun. Yeah, so just, like, if you haven't read it yet, I love not really a brand as such, but chickpea flour, if you're trying to find eggy stuff. I don't know if you use chickpea flour.
I know, I've never used
You can
chickpea
make,
flour.
like, it doesn't taste exactly the same, but a chickpea omelette is still high protein, it still hits the spot. It's not exactly the same, but it's really good in its own right. And then also kalanamak salt, which is eggy salt, black salt, trying to think of all the names it is, but it tastes like egg. So I often put that on like, it's one of my weirdest recipes, but I'll like slice up an aubergine, cook that, put the kalanamak on it. It kind of, and then if you put it in a sandwich, it kind of tastes like a fried egg sandwich without the yolk. But there's something about it, and it's not the same. I've been vegan a long time, but to me, it tastes very similar.
Yeah, it's got the eggy feel. For me, I think there's loads of things that are accidentally vegan that you're already eating and you're just going to lean into, like Pink Panthers. Why are they vegan? I don't know. You're looking at me like they're not. They are.
No,
right?
they are. Who eats those?
Oh my god,
Yeah,
Pink
no.
Panthers change your life. I love a Pink Panther. And also like the vegan, I've talked about this in Half-Assed Human, but brand vegan where you just like switch out the brand. So Richmond do make really good vegan sausages, although they also make meat sausages, so I feel really conflicted about that. That's probably a sticky wicket. My public plea is for everybody to please buy vegan Nutella. It's available in Sainsbury's, and if they stop making it, I will die, and that's a real threat. So I think that whatever you're eating, on my behalf, think of me and buy some vegan Nutella, because I need that to be financially viable in the future. You don't feel that. You don't like it. That's okay.
The Vigo one is better. Vigo and any dark chocolate one, to be honest.
Well,
But
The expert has spoken.
yeah. Also, no, because
all
I've
good.
been buying like the more like fair trade, ethical chocolate spreads that have been doing it for a long time. Like if you go from buying like normal Nutella or dairy Nutella to like the vegan Nutella, that is good. But if I went to buy the vegan Nutella, it would be a setback for me. So I'm not going to do it.
That's absolutely
And I
fair.
really love the brands that I buy from. So Vigo and like any of the dark chocolate ones, any of the health food store ones, I love them.
Yeah.
Not the DELISH yellow one though. That one's too healthy.
Yeah.
I'm not
Valid.
having a chocolate spread for health. I feel like I'm like, Nino, vegan policing there. I think it depends on what steps you're taking, and I'm not going to take a step back for your Nutella needs.
Valid. That's okay. I think that's fair. I think that's the diversity and opinion that we need in this video. That's okay. And so ended our most wonderful vegan food crawl. It was absolutely bloody delicious. Thank you so much to Nicole for taking me to all those places and humouring my very silly questions. I understand that it is a hard topic, but I know that it's also an urgent one, and it can be a really fun one too. So I really appreciate you sitting through this video and giving this topic a go. If you want to hear my thoughts about my mental journey towards being like, oh shit, think I might need to become vegan, and then also learning more about it and being like, oh great, I think I need to become vegan, you can read about that in my chapter of my book Half-Ass Human, called Half-Ass Vegan. Of course, everything Nicole makes is an amazing resource, and particularly her newsletter, so I'll leave the links to her stuff below. But I think it remains to be said that there are so many different reasons to move away from meat and dairy consumption, and they are complicated and painful and beautiful and very different for very different kinds of people. But what I do think is inarguable is that we have never eaten this way before. This is the most meat we collectively as a species have ever eaten. Even like our parents' generation didn't eat this much. It's a wild amount. And we also know as the environment starts taking back some of the land that could have been useful to grow crops on, or we start realizing that we have to give it back, like we've been taking up too much land for agriculture, like we just need to cut back. And we can have a conversation at another point in the future about whether we cut out, but cutting back is genuinely the first step and completely customizable. There's some absolutely wild figures that I wish the government would circulate more, like the fact that it takes between 50 to 100 times more land to produce a calorie of beef or lamb versus a plant-based alternative. It also takes between 50 to 100 times more land to produce like 1 gram of protein. So above everything else, it's genuinely just a really inefficient way of us collectively feeding ourselves. So cutting back in any way and visiting any establishment that even offers one vegan option can be really, really helpful. If you can't go proper vegan right now, what else can you do to help? Well, something that I have been thinking about recently is how when I go to most restaurants, they usually have one vegan option, which is nice if they have it, like amazing, so grateful. But imagine if there was a restaurant that only had one meal on the menu. Would you return? You'd go once maybe, go, that was quite nice, but would you keep going back? I think some restaurant owners are really confused as to why their vegan options aren't doing well. I'm like, it's probably because the vegans came and they thought it was okay, but they never came back because they don't want to keep going to the same restaurant and eating the same meal. So even if you don't eat vegan, supporting restaurants that at least offer one, if not 2 or 3 vegan options, and ask them why not. Say, I've got a vegan friend, I'd really like to bring them. Why don't you have more vegan options? Are you planning to put more vegan options on the menu? What's going on here? Because I have friends who are vegan and I'd like to bring them. They don't need to know that maybe I'm the friend or Nicole's the friend. Review restaurants on Google being like, this was great, the atmosphere is amazing, the service was great, shame about the vegan options, can't come back here again because I've got vegan friends and I don't know what they'd eat. Just verbally or like physically giving some data that restaurant owners and business owners can plan with and chefs can use as evidence that if they did make more vegan options, people would probably come and buy them. That would be fantastic. Also making those really easy switches, like vegan pesto, you won't taste the difference. Vegan Nutella, I pretty much guarantee you won't taste the difference. Oat milk in your coffee when you're out, you might taste the difference, but trust me, it will be an improvement. Thank you so much for watching this video. Of course, this video isn't sponsored. Who the hell would sponsor a video like this? So thank you so much to the Gumption Club, because they tip me for these videos and make sure they keep happening, even though we weren't interrupted by a sponsor. So thank you so much to them. And there's lots of very forgiving, positive panic, sustainable people in our Discord if you want to come and chat in an approachable way about reducing your meat and dairy consumption without judgment, because that's what we get. We don't want the judgment. We just want the fun, and we want to keep having fun. And to do that on this planet, we need to eat less meat and dairy. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much to Nicole for sharing all of her amazing wisdom and incredibly tasty recommendations. Frog Snog out.